Coming in with an extra 6% crit chance, a quicker fire rate, 10 more in the magazine, 5% less status, but it does kind of move around the damage from this, taking away from puncture, giving to impact, increasing slash, even though it does technically do 10 total damage less than the normal version does. But as we can tell from firing the normal one, there's nothing really too special about this. It actually fires pretty slow. Whereas the Prime one, which you may notice I'm not actually shooting at this point, has some special touches to it. Mainly the fact that the bolts explode over time, but the fire rate is much more noticeably faster. I didn't expect it to be that much faster, but that's not recoil, that's just me aiming upwards. The recoil is more that, which is actually pretty accurate if you think about it. It doesn't have that much recoil to this at all, even over distance. They're all kind of landing in roughly the same place, which means Thunderbolt isn't really needed for this weapon because, well, the bolts have Thunderbolt kind of built into it, which is great because jumping back to the normal one, if you see Thunderbolt it doesn't actually self-harm anymore. This is not the arrows exploding later. There's a huge issue to this. You'll notice explode on impact. Whereas with the Prime, nothing. Thunderbolt is in here and you can see there is no... Thunderbolt does not work on the huge Prime. Not a single detonation from the arrows landing. Hence the reason that I'm aiming it upwards. I didn't know that Thunderbolt doesn't actually deal damage anymore. It used to kill you when you shot it too close. Now it doesn't do that. I have no idea when that happened because I stopped putting Thunderbolt in weapons because I got sick of killing myself. Probably why it doesn't kill you anymore. Then there is this blue, squirrely, wavy type thing that happens when you reload a magazine. What this is the reload speed is doubled if you reload from an empty magazine. You see it going there, so you will reload quicker if you empty the entire magazine, and it displays this weird visual effect. But when it comes to building it, as you can expect, it being a Prime weapon, it came with 3 V polarities. I did add a 4th, but I am very tempted on actually adding a 5th, and the way that I have it set up, I do have a Riven in this. It's, if I remember correctly, it adds 163% damage, increases projectile speed by 80% and has 2 point something punch through to it. It's mainly on there for the damage. And I went straight up elemental, throwing Serration, Split Chamber in here of course, with high voltage, Malignant Force, Rhyme Rounds as the dual elemental mods, adding status and the elements of course, and Wildfire to add a bit more magazine. It adds 20% magazine, not the best, but it still adds the 60% heat, but unfortunately having that in there did mean that I lost the 100% status that I was building this for. And why do I have Vigilant Fervor in there? It only adds 45% fire rate, but it does have a 5% chance to enhance critical hits from primary weapons. Well, this is a primary weapon, it has 26% crit anyway, so I just thought, why not? Plus, they kind of have it backwards. A few keen-eyed people would notice Vigilant Fever should probably be where high voltage is, it would give some spare points. I want to put Prime Shred in this, which will add a 2.2 punch through and... yep, 55% fire rate, doubled for bows, but that's where this weapon starts to get interesting. Yes, I would like to run that, I'm quite happy with that in there anyway. Yes, this thing may do, it's a total of 10 extra damage over the standard version. The standard one does 90, this does 100 total physical damage. The problem here comes with the fact that this is a alarming weapon. It's not a silent weapon. You can't run this in stealth missions, which is why the Huge has been overlooked for many years, because what's the point in having a crossbow that isn't a silent weapon? I love the fact that Thunderbolt is built into this thing. It actually emptied a slot that I could put weird things in. You could run heavy caliber in this. It will add another 165% damage, but it will take away the accuracy of it. That is why I'm running a Riven with the 163% damage instead of heavy caliber. You can always run heavy caliber instead of that, but at range, this thing will actually become kind of horrible. And yes, a few other keen-eyed people would have noticed that I kind of changed the attachments and put the Eros arrow skin on there, so that is why this, during the video every now and then, has been shooting hearts. It doesn't do that normally. I think I recorded some with the barrel one as well, but not all arrows will do this. The parts aren't actually that hard to get. There's 5 of them, with the receiver on the Axi D1 relic, the string on the Axi M1 relic, the blueprint itself on the Lith L1 relic, the grip on the Meso A2 relic, and the barrel on the Neo Z3 relic. Just means that it's time consuming finding all of the parts, and luckily it only takes 12 hours to build, so the build time isn't that bad. It's just forming the parts. Totally worth actually doing. Even though the Paris Prime may be the original bow, the Cernos Prime is definitely better for stealth and probably still remains the King Prime bow. It is way better than this in every way, but this was more fun. Yes, it's useless for stealth missions. It doesn't do a great deal of damage. It does 100 total, but it has the explosive rounds that make it more fun to use than this running around with the Cernos all the time. If you're doing stealth, take the Cernos. For everything else, well, the Huge Prime's just better. Especially with the fully auto, you don't have to charge it, it just automatically fires, which adds to the kind of greatness of this weapon. But anyway, we'll leave this off here for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch yous next time.